Okay, today I'm working on a 2010 Chrysler Town Country van, same thing as a Dodge Caravan. And the problem that we have is when you turn on the turn signals, it blinks fine for a few seconds, and we should go, there we go, it starts blinking real fast, and it does that on both sides. And if you go around to the front, you realize it's not blinking in the front. Now I've already pulled the bulb out, tested it, tested the circuit going through the back of the connector, and tested here and did not have any power coming out. So I'm going to plug this back in. I know the bulb and the socket are good, and I'm going to leave that right there for right now. I'm going to take this cover off, and when you bring it back you got to pull it off the hinge. First thing I'm going to do is knock the battery loose. Next thing I'm going to do is take this out, take this nut off. I'm going to pull this cable up because it's going to restrict it from getting the box up. And I'm also going to put this nut back on so it'll make it easier for testing down the road. Now you have to push in these tabs and lift up on the box. And the thing we want to get to, if you can see it, is this white connector right here. That is the C4 connector. Got to pull the lock up on it, and then push the lever in, slide it out. Now I've already been in here before because I figured out what was wrong with it. There's some things rearranged here. And what I'm going to do is I've got this red cable out the way, so I'm going to take and hook the negative cable back up. I'm going to hook my amp meter up. I'm going to go to battery positive, and I'm going to take this and back probe the terminals for the turn signals, and we should be able to make the turn signal light come on. Hopefully you'll be able to see this thing light up. So that means that the wiring from the TIPM to the bulb and the bulb itself is good. I'm going to go down to the other one, which is the second one in there. Yep. And this should allow the left front to come on, and you can, well, we're going to go around here and see that it is on. We know that the wiring between the TIPM and that light is good. So now we've done our basic wiring testing, and we know the wiring is okay, but is it really? Okay, it's kind of noisy here today, but I just want to go over this briefly and let you know what's going on. What we're working on here is a 2010 Town & Country, and supposedly this problem relates to 2011 through 2016 year models, but this is a 2010, so I'm going to expand it out to 2010 to 2016. And it should be related to the Town & Countries and the Caravans. I've also seen some mention of it being related to the Volkswagen version and affecting some of the Durangos also. What we have here is the underhood fuse box, or TIPM, totally integrated power module. And what happens is there was a running change in production of where actually 4 of the terminals come out and how they're operated. And what happens is you wind up with no turn signals in the front of the vehicle, and they start flashing quickly in the back. Sets a couple of codes, a B063c and a B063a, and those are for an open or shorted circuit between the TIPM and the bulbs. You could also wind up with some fog light codes, and the basic idea of this video is to let you know that there are terminals for the fog light bulbs and for the front turn signals that can interchange. If you wind up with the problem of the turn signals flashing too quick, not operating in the front, and having either one of those codes, then you're most likely looking at a possibility that the TIPM has been changed and the wire configuration is not right for the vehicle. And what we have to do, and I don't know if we'll be able to do this right here or not. I don't know what I just did, it sounded bad. But what we have here is the C4 connector, and terminal 7 and 11 can interchange, and terminal 9 and 16 can interchange. And if you're having an issue, you basically have to take that connector off, pull it apart, swap the terminal leads from one connector hole to the other, and then put it all back together and recheck it. And the C4 connector is that white connector right down there in the middle, so you don't actually have to take everything apart. I'm going to reach in there, pull this lock back up hopefully, and pull it out. I'll slide it over this side. I've already done the wire swap on this one and it's fixed, but I wanted to go over this and let you know what's got to be done. Let me get this camera set back up. And what we have to do in this is you have to get a little screwdriver and get in here and pop this cap up, and then work it your way around it to get it lifted all the way out. It's got separator webs to keep everything apart. Now when you go to change the terminals from one position to another, you're going to need to have a tool like this that has an angle tip on it, and you just simply slide the angle tip in alongside the wire terminal. See if I can even see this, and you lift that plastic off and then slide the terminal out, put it in the correct position. On this particular one here, we're looking at this wire here, which is one is a white with tan, I think the other one is white with green. And you do have to make sure when you're going to put it back together, all these things are properly located. You don't want to have a twist in them, and they want to be to the right height. But I just wanted to let you see what's inside there, so you know what's going on if you encounter this. Let me get this thing back together so I don't mess it up. Now, like I was saying before, this is where we wound up being for one turn signal, and this is the other one right here. But originally they were in different sockets, and I had to change them out. It's not a big deal to do, and I have a scan tool to where I can clear the codes and recheck the system. You would actually have to change the wires, hook everything back up, and then retest it, and it would probably flash quickly for a little bit, and then it would come back and start flashing the right speed, and over time the codes would clear out on their own, or should clear out on their own. And something that I think would happen, this vehicle doesn't have fog lights, but I think that when the module or the TIPM is first placed in the vehicle, when you turn your turn signals on, the respective front fog light would flash in unison with the turn signals until it realized that the load was different, and it would shut off the driver anyways. And same thing with the fog lights. If you turn the fog lights on, chances are the two front turn signal bulbs would light up, and they would do that temporarily until again the computer realizes a bulb outage because the resistance is off, and it would turn them off. So you could wind up with either one of those problems, and I'm hoping I did a good enough job of explaining this. And we're going to put this one back together and call it wrapped up in a little bit. I believe in an earlier video I showed where you can apply power to the wire here and the wire here. Check to see if your lights light up. If they do, then you know that the basic wiring is okay, the bulb is okay, the ground is okay, and there's a very high chance that the wires are just in the wrong position. And try swapping them out and see if it fixes it. Right now I'm going to stick this back in here. And I'll have to recheck this to make sure everything is still working right. I don't like that doesn't snap down that good. Let me get this latch out of here. Okay, maybe that's the reason why. Get it stuck in there, let it click. It doesn't like to click. That's not good. Now I'll stick the lock back down, or see if I can get the lock back in. There, it should be locked on there now. Yep, it's locked on there now. And you don't have to worry about any of this other stuff, just this one white plug that's the C4 connector, and that's all you really got to work with. So let me get this stuck back down here. Slid on the brackets. Get this pulled up and brought back on top of this. And tighten down. Let me go get something for that. That should be tight. When you're putting this off and on, you got a hinge here and here and pegs that you got to line up. Snap it on there and then roll it over, and it's good to go. And with any luck, the turn signals still work. The same issue affects the four-way flashers, so I have them on right now. Maybe that's what fell earlier. Yeah, I knocked the bulb over. That's what it was. Got to stick it back in the hole here. Rotate it around and lock it in place. And you can see that the four-way flashers are now working. They weren't working either, and neither were the front turn signals. And this vehicle does not have front fog lights. Turn those off. Turn the left one on, and you can see it flashing up in the reflection of that car up there. And same thing over there. And it's flashing the right speed in here. Hope this helps. Sparky out.